and responsibility. So it's about true decision. I'm decided to have a happy family, and I will fight for it, and I will do everything to make my family happy. You decided I will, to go into such a tough sport like you've been off-road, those races. It's a tough sport. It's not a choice. It's not a big fun. It's a lot of tears. It's a lot of blood. It's a lot of sweat. It was a decision. Otherwise, you will try and you will say, no, 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 not for me. I will go for something easy.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not about this. Excuses actually even go back to that cultural difference between like different countries. Coaching top executives from different countries, and from time to time, different things appear. Oh, it's not a custom in our country. I say, hey, you want to drive a Rolls Royce, man, but you still want to behave as, you know, as at the lowest level of some kind of cultural assumptions. If you want to be ahead of the game, you must be ahead of the game in the way you think and so act.
Mm-hmm.
Those differences or something I don't want to do, it's not a habit, it's not in our culture, is an excuse to hide our weaknesses.
Mm.
And that comes a big frustration after that.
Yeah.
I have failed because I didn't recognize myself in that game. Don't go for it. Don't play it.
That is it's well said. Very true. Speaking of McDonald's, how is your McDonald's over there? Honest question.
My son is probably an honorable visitor. He's 5 years old, therefore he is a big fan of this Happy Meal.
Yeah.
And of course I'm a victim of it because my choice would be just a coffee, in a good sense.
Yeah.
And
But
yet
what I'm
we
curious
all
about,
did that.
is it nice? Do they do a good job there?
Oh yeah, they're keeping a good standard, fairly good standard, because I've been at, in China, in the US, in the UK, in different countries, and I don't see any difference.
You know,
It's again, it's consistency.
yeah, and that's why I ask. It's interesting because we become lazy in our society and we allow ourselves to become victims of what people expect of us oftentimes. McDonald's is a good example. I was in between uh, Casablanca and Marrakesh in
Uh-huh.
Morocco, and there was a McDonald's there. And I went in, and the manager was in a suit and tie.
Yeah.
The place was immaculate. It was perfectly clean. The food was exactly how it was supposed to be. I think they had a couple extra things because it was Morocco. But I was so impressed with that McDonald's. As I traveled the world after that, I started going to McDonald's in Japan and China and these different places. And I realized the pride that these people took in other countries to own and operate a restaurant. And when I look at the McDonald's here in the United States, culturally, we've put them down as cheap, but yet it's still a business. It's still an opportunity for people to succeed and make money. And it's very unfortunate that they don't treat it with the same pride here that I've seen around the world in other McDonald's. And it has a lot to do with what you talk about. We all have the same opportunities. It's what you make of them. It's our vision to be better, to go and work for our family and do the best job we can do.
Our, you're absolutely right, because by definition, it's a big, serious business. Even if it's a small business, it's still about taking care of people. Therefore, it's a serious, already serious. You're facing customers every minute, and you must be good with them and good for them. Another thing is, doesn't matter what kind of a price tag is on a product. It for somebody's wallet or for somebody like or for somebody need doesn't matter. If people happy with that, give it to them. Keep them happy. And that is quite important. It's nothing, it's back to our conversation about ego. Hey, McDonald's only for poor people. No, if I'm on the road driving somewhere in the middle of Sweden and I don't have much choice and it would be a McDonald's restaurant, would I worry? No, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is. Be human.
And I guarantee you, billionaires have 5-year-olds too that like McDonald's.
Oh, yeah. I sure, yes. Absolutely. I'm absolutely confident about this. You know,
Yeah.
good job that people don't know much about me when I'm at McDonald's, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, talk to me about Vision Code. Talk to me about the book, what somebody will learn or understand while reading the book.
I strongly believe that we have two main assets, all of us. Life itself, but it's given to us by God, by parents, by nature, whatever. But it's meaningless. And to make it meaningful, we must have a vision to live a purposeful, meaningful life. Many businesses shouldn't be established from a day one because they're just only for money. And no one won so far that race for money. You can't win against digits. You must have a vision because then you know where you go. You must have a vision because without vision, your strategy is a bridge to nowhere. You must have something greater than you and your organization to attract people, to expect their commitment, because it should be something for them beyond just a paycheck. Uh, and how to create it, how to create it, how to execute it, how to make it really influential going across the borders. This is in a book. And I'm bringing voices of 19 brilliant visionaries from across the globe, really amazing people. And as I mentioned, I came from a practical business and I love practical things. It's not about talking, oh, how nice it would be. It's really pure practical. Step, practical sense, practical models, practical forms, and real voices. That's a reality that without vision, we will be just afraid of the future as we usually do. But
Mm-hmm.
when you become a master of your future, you are really optimistic. You're saying yes to my future and you will fight for it.
I love that notion of practicality and coming from a practical position. You know, I think about you being on a fishing boat. I'm here in Montana. I think about our loggers and our miners and our farmers doing everyday practical jobs to serve society. And if they chose, they could take those practical businesses and build them to be beyond, what they're doing today if they wanted to, if they had the vision, right? And I love taking practicality and applying it to other things.
Jim, I will put a very simple notion. When you have a really great, strong vision, you could leave it as a legacy to the next generation. If you don't have a vision, you would leave, in a good sense, some kind of a house or a bit of money on a bank account for the next generation, but they would hardly remember it within a short while. But they will always remember your lessons. They will pick it up with a pride, and they will pass it to their next generation. So it's something that goes beyond you and beyond your life.
I don't want to give away any secrets in your book, but do you have an exercise for people to go through to start identifying what their vision is?
I will start with a simple question. And Strangely or not, this is one of the toughest questions that adult can answer. Can you remember your aspirations for 3 years ago, from 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and from today? But I'm not talking aspirations like, I want a nicer car. No, your wildest aspirations that sits on the back of your mind, because those aspirations are the roots of your vision. It's not a catchy statements. We want to be number one. No, I want to be the fanciest guy in the town. No, it's nothing like that. What kind of a space you want to create? And here, adults have difficulty. But if you are good at responding to this question, you're on the way to something very big and something very interesting. It's a matter of shaping it.
You know, we talk about that often amongst our peers. When you have a vision and you write it down, you talk about having those aspirations, you write them down and you work towards those aspirations. Like you said, it takes patience and time, commitment to pursue that. And the greatest, I think, one of the greatest pleasures, and I'm doing it right now, is I'm able to look out at my ranch with my animals and remember back 5 years ago when this was something I aspired to have and a life that I aspired to live with my kids and teach them about being around animals and such. The power of having that vision, I think, is the point, and I think it's the point of your book.
It makes your life purposeful, satisfying. I can't promise that people would live happy life because it's their decision how they will take that life. But if their life is satisfying, it's a big deal. Mm-hmm. It's a huge thing for everyone.
Yeah. Hey, before I sign off, what were some of the other books that you wrote, top line topics?
Leaderology is purely about leadership. Corporate superpower, it's about corporate culture. And together with my colleague and friend John Spence, we're working on a new book, which should be, with a good sense, out by end of the year, beginning of the coming year. It's still about vision and how to think vision, how to think strategy, how to think people. So it's about commitment and it's about consistency.
Exciting. I'm going to put your website in the show notes. If somebody's interested in grabbing the Vision Code or some of the other books by Oleg, I would encourage you to do so. I know I'm going to grab that book as soon as we get off the air. It's exciting to me to learn more about vision and have more aligned people and learn from them. Any tips for our listeners? Any final thoughts for them?
Vision is a decision itself. And if you made the decision to live a purposeful life, don't allow anyone to silence your vision.
So true. So true. I want to thank you sincerely for being on the show today, sharing your story, sharing your book. We look forward to reading it and learning more about you. Thank you so much.
Jim, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to today's show. It is my pleasure and honor to interview all of the guests that have been on the Answer is Yes podcast. If you have enjoyed the show, please go on iTunes and subscribe, give a rating, or simply tell a friend about the show. We also believe in the message of our guests and the positive influence of their stories. As my own mentor and coach, David Meltzer, has taught me, spend some time every day thinking and writing about the things in your own life that you have more than enough of. You will find out how blessed we really are. Please visit my website, livelifedriven.com, for the latest updates about me and what I'm doing. Plus, I post a monthly blog about the many topics on this show. This podcast can also be found there. As I learned early on in life, what you believe is what you will achieve. Thanks, Mark Victor Hansen, and thank you, and have a great week.